Right, another very exciting moment and another new project. You might be wondering, so many projects, but you know what? This car has been living in the shadows for the past 2 years while I was working on Project Payday and Project Rottweiler, but I think it's time to introduce this car to you guys. This car, when it was new, costed over £200,000 and I got it for a fraction of that price. And the reason I got it for that price is there's a catch. And the catch is this car has been involved in an accident. So we will be rebuilding this car from ground up all the way to an absolute monster of a car. And with that being said, this is Project Berlin. Right, so time to begin. Got my gloves on and having a closer look at the car. So as you can see, the car's had a very heavy impact. So the car went against a wall and it turns out the wall was a bit stronger in one. So the front end is completely smashed. The AC condensers, the coolant, charge coolers, everything is smashed here. The front crash bar, the bumper is of course missing, headlights missing, the bonnet is mashed up to different pieces, and the problem is because aluminium, straightening this up is not an option, so that has to be a replacement. There's a lot of brackets and stuff that is smashed up, we can see, but the most important bit on this one is we've had the car for nearly 2 years. When the car was involved in an accident and it got recovered, initially when I inspected the car, when it got dropped off here, the front wheel did not get along with each other. One was pointing to the east and the other to the west. So we worked a bit on the suspension to make sure that we can push the car back and forth and work on the car. Even though it's kind of straight, the wheels are kind of straight, we still need to remove the suspension and do all of that properly. At the same time, what we found out was the engine and the gearbox did not get along well, and after the car got dropped off to us, it turns out that the gearbox has divorced the car, so it was absolutely smashed up inside. It was grinding, and I don't know if it was caused by the recovery company or it caused an accident, but long story short, we had to replace the gearbox. It took us months to find another gearbox. They're not easy to find, but yeah, in this car right now we have a Lamborghini Huracan gearbox that we found, that we slapped in, and I have misplaced the footage, but if I do find the footage of those videos, I will link it somewhere. I'll probably release at some point, but currently we have a Lamborghini Huracan gearbox in there, which is an Audi gearbox put into Lamborghini Huracan to become a Lamborghini gearbox, but then it has an Audi stamp, so it's an Audi gearbox. I mean, you get the message. Anyways, so that's in there. The next part and the most important part for me is starting the car, and this is going to build or break this build, because at the moment I don't know if the engine even turns over. So there's a lot of stuff. We did try starting it at some point in the past, but I gave up because we were too busy with other stuff and I didn't have enough time. But now that we are probably concentrating on the build, first thing first, let's start looking into some modules. So yeah, so having a look inside, of course, there's not much damage inside apart from the side airbags. They're all deployed. The dashboard airbags deployed, the steering wheel airbags deployed. So all the airbags have been deployed, and we will be stripping the interior out together with the headliner, all of this, to replace the airbags. Look, because it's been sitting for so long, it looks absolutely filthy. Look at that. That is a disgusting behavior. How can you let a car like this sit like this, get filthy? But this needs a really good detail. Look at this. It's growing trees. It is growing trees. That is my neglect. That is my bad. Right, so first thing first, obviously the battery that came with the car is, and all these marks that you see is from glue. So because the windows couldn't close, we had to put like plastic and stuff over. so water doesn't get in and it's just glue remains, so that's not damage. However, there is a bit of a damage on the other side, A pillar, which will need to be fixed and resprayed, but there are problems for later on down the line. Our aim for today is getting this car started. So as you can see down here, what I have done already is I've disconnected a lot of control modules and everything. The battery that came with the car is obviously was shot, so I got a Mercedes battery that will be giving us power today, and we do have a battery maintainer as well, so it will help us through the testing and make sure, you know, we have enough power to turn this beast of an engine, which is 5.2 litre V10. Yeah, let that sink in. Yeah, so what I have done is remove all these control modules, but now what we need to do is go through all the testing and stuff. I think we are getting auxiliary power, but the engine is not turning over at all. So this is my first plan, to get this car engine to turn over. So let me get a few things and let's start doing some madness. Right, so what I'll do is, if I connect this battery so we have power to the car, and this is heavy, so there we go. And I will also get the battery maintainer just to make sure the car have enough juice while we are doing our test and cranking and testing and cranking. So we'll connect that there, we'll connect this over here as well, and yep, so that is providing power together with the battery is now connected as well, so we should have enough juice. And let's try cranking the car. So before we crank the car, let me quickly show you the engine as well. Brother, where is the button for the boot gone? Huh? Yo, how do you open the boot? No, how do you open the front or the no? That's already open. How do you open the engine cover? But it's the boot, but it's the engine cover. Right. You sausage, it was here. Huh? Where is the button for the boot? The button for the boot. Ah, it's hidden back here. So that's where you turn off the interior sensors, and there's a button here that you pull. I'm not getting anything. Have you got power? Oh yes. So we have power, which is good. It says remote key, hold the back of the key against the, oh, so I think the key, the battery in the key is dead as well. Let me quickly grab the key. Right, so we have got the key. I need to change the battery in this, but that's a problem for another time. You know, let's do as you say for now. It says hold the key against, oh, there we go. So we have ignition on. Now if you try, yep, there we go. That's a lovely sound, and this should be now open. Oh wow, oh wow, look at that, spider webs. We have spiders growing in here. That is disgusting. Yeah, right, so as we can see, that is the lovely V10 engine right there. Beautiful. It does need a bit of TLC. There's a lot of dust on there, but I'm sure we can sort all of that out. And look at that, there's spiders everywhere. Look at the webs in there. That is crazy. There, everywhere. So yeah, that is the mighty V10. Obviously what we need to do is, before we crank the car, fuck, you know, everything is so tight, it is impossible to take off. Yeah, so all feels good. there is oil in there. I can see like oil all the way down there. I didn't see any oil leak when we lifted the car, so I know oil hasn't drained out or anything, or there's no damage to the rear of the car. Coolant, however, there is no coolant because of the front radiator. Everything is drained out. So if you do get to start it, it'll have to be a very quick start, and then we'll have to shut it off. Rear spoilers we can raise, but you know what, I think we should move on to cranking the car. And it is not so easy. Right, so now that we have the ignition running, we have panels everywhere. Anyways, now that we have the ignition running, this is the problem. We did try starting it, but it wasn't starting. I hope it's fixed itself, fingers crossed. And if I click on the start, nothing. So it does say hold the remote. Oh, did you hear something? It says drive system fault, and we are hearing the, I think it's the starter motor. It clicks, but it's not turning. Let me see if you can hear that again. Did you hear that? Oi. I hope the engine is not seized, because if the starter is turning, it's clicking, but it can't turn the engine if it's hydro locked. Oh boy, that's crazy. You know, we've already spent literally a brand new Golf R, the price of a brand new Golf R on this car so far, and that is not good news. That's not good news. Right, I need to do some more digging. First thing is, that's crazy, because it wants to start. I want to double check to make sure the battery, everything is connected. The battery stabilizer is on jump mode, so we do have enough amps from there, about 100 odd amps from that, plus from the battery as well. So technically that should, the power shouldn't be the issue. The issue, I'm hoping it's not the engine, you know. Should we try again? Right, let's switch everything off. Right. Yeah, it looks like it wants to start, but it doesn't want to start. That is not good news. Could you hear the sound? It looks like the start just wants to turn, but that is, nothing's like out of place here. Everything is connected. I think I might have to strip the sides. I don't know. Right, what I'm going to do is connect the computer, do a quick scan to see what sort of errors we are getting, and start diagnosing different components. But that certainly doesn't sound too good to me. Oh boy, if that engine is seized, this car is literally scraps. It's not worth anything. Oh man, this is all surprises after surprises. Right, let me quickly hook up the computer. Right, so I have the diagnostic connector. We'll quickly plug this one in and scan the car to see what sort of faults we are getting, and then we'll have to just, it'll be like a process of elimination kind of thing. So right, ignition needs to be on. There we go, ignition's on. And now if we go over to the computer and scan the car to see what we are dealing with. So initially, you know what, let me scan the computer first, because I've got so many different ideas in my head. Right, so we do have a lot of faults. As we can see, special function has 2 faults, engine has 4, but these cars come with 2 engine ECUs, so you can see one has 4 faults, the other ECU has 2 faults. All-wheel drive, every ECU in the car has a fault, 7 faults in the central electronics, 4 over there, 2 there. That is literally crazy. So we need to work through that, but what I'm more interested in is the engine ones. And this one is voltage supply, general test, 12 volts, supply voltage too low. So I think most of them are relating to voltage. That is for the AC pressure, because obviously there's no gas. Microphone, short circuits or open circuit. I think what I can do is, if I perform a reset on this first and see what kind of remains, and then we can concentrate on those areas, because most of them will be caused by, let's say, the under voltage of the battery. So if we eliminate that one, then we'll be left with the actual problem that remains within the car. Yeah, right. So while the system is resetting all the faults, because we are getting a lot of faults for low voltage, which was the battery was dead, we know, and I had the battery disconnected. So let everything reset, and then we can give it another start and see what kind of remains, and we have to work through the faults. But initially, my plan is, because everything within the fuse box, the battery cable, there is that one fuse there, but I think that was checked. I don't know if that was checked or not, because if that one is blown as well, that should give us a fault code. So if I quickly go over to the computer and scan the airbag system, which is right, so the airbag, right, okay, so that one is done. So the airbag has 8 faults, of course, because all the airbags are deployed. And high pressure, parking sensors, airbag igniter, driver side airbag resistance too. So that's for the main driver side airbag for the steering wheel. Belt tensioners, driver side and passenger side, they both need to be replaced. So that's, will have error for that. High pressure, left LED headlight, because that's missing. That's it's not even there. Battery isolate igniter. Battery interrupted. I think we might be onto something. So it says igniter for battery cut N253 is checked. So if you look at the function diagram for installation location for that, wait, you know what, function instructions, let's go next, because I think when handling airbag system, we know the safeties. Let's continue. Bolt the airbag control module to its installation location for all work. Right, now it's reading the memory to see what is wrong with. So it says the battery interrupt igniter resistance too large. Oh, so the battery cut. Oh, so it's like a pyrofuse cut, battery cut N253. So where is that located? It should be near the battery then, which is at the front. Crash sensors and switches. If we look at, no, we don't want that. Where is the, check the connector, waggle and press slowly and blah blah blah. The igniter resistance is too large. Right, so I think is, obviously it's not telling us exactly where. Did you measure the readout? Right, if we go back to the car over here, let me grab the multimeter. 2 seconds. Right, so with this one we can perform a couple of tests just to make sure, because that should have been checked. So across, let's say we want 12 volts from the battery. So if we clip here, that one over here, there, and we want 12 volts to come to this side of the fuse box, and yeah, we don't have no voltage. So if we, right, so we have 12 volts over there. Wait, I need to swap the leads, but yeah, swap the leads over like that. So we have 12 volts over there on that side of this specific fuse. So that is the pyrofuse for this system, of course. But I thought that was checked and replaced. I'm getting so confused, unless they didn't do it. So right, let me quickly bypass that, see if you can bypass that one. Let me get some bigger cable, 2 seconds. Right, so I have this jumper wire, and what I'm going to do is jump that terminal across, and how's that going to work is bypassing that fuse basically. So I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the fuse box? So if I basically bypass, so we are getting voltage there, which is that cable there, but we're not getting voltage that side, so which means this pyrofuse has exploded inside. And I'm 100% sure we replaced it, but I don't know. It's been so long, it's been 2 years. Alright, so if I connect that one there, and then this one to, let's say, the other side. Come on, clip on. This is a lot trickier than expected. Man, I can't even clip this on. And because of these wires, it is really... Alright, you know what? Let's do it again. So if I clip this one there, and then this one there. Now if we confirm to make sure we are getting voltage on that side, voltage. I'm not getting no voltage. Are these connected properly? So right, so I am getting 13 volts there, and I'm getting 13 volts there, which is Gucci. So now that means that fuse box is bypassed. Right, where's my key? Is the key inside the car? This is going to be, again, let's try again. Hopefully, so I think it was the pyrofuse that was preventing us. So let's try again. I hope this starts. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So wait, let's try again. Still the same thing. What could be the problem? So we have bypassed the pyro as well. I think it's not the pyro, because I'm telling that pyro was replaced. Even if it's not replaced, we bypassed it, but why is it still not working? And there is voltage going on both sides. If I confirm that, because make sure, if I confirm that, we have voltage on this side which is 13 volts, and we have voltage on that side which is 13 volts. So the pyrofuse is bypassed. What could it be? Let's go back to the computer and have another look at the faults. Right, so looked at the faults, and there are no other faults apart from the igniter one. There is no fault codes related to, let's say, fuel pressures, starters, start inhibited by, let's say, mobilizer system, nothing like that. So, because because the only thing that is coming to my mind right now is the problem that we had with the Project Payday. When we got that and we couldn't start it, so I'm assuming what if it's the same issue and that had a problem with the software. So what I'm thinking is, if I take the ECU out on this one, of course this car's come with 2 ECUs, and then update the ECU or flash the ECU to the latest software, and if it is the latest software, we'll flash it to the original software again, and if there is any bugs, and see if you can bypass all of those and start it, because we had the exact same issue on the Project Payday. And if you guys haven't seen Project Payday, click on the link above over there somewhere, and you can watch the build on that one. So the only thing that's coming to my mind, and I think I'm going to try, is rather than wasting any more time, we bypass the pyrofuse. That's not working. We have a stable 13 volts from the battery and the battery stabilizer, so the voltage is not the issue. The issue must be somewhere either in the engine, but that is, I doubt, there's no water, nothing's gone into the engine, so I don't know how it could have hydrolocked itself, but that would be the last scenario. I don't even want to think about that possibility, because that is, yeah, that's not something I want to think about. So what I'm thinking is, let me remove all of this stuff, remove the ECUs on the car, flash the ECUs, and see if we can do something that way, and then test it again. So you know what, I think let's start stripping some more parts. So we need T20, was it T25 down here, filthy with these dust and everything. So we need to remove all of these trims in order for us to remove so we need to remove these covers. I believe the ECU is, one is in here and one is on that side somewhere. So the tabs on here is what we need to remove, which is flatted. Put that there, and that one there, and there we go. One, there should be more. Ah, that's loose. I think we have to remove these parts as well. So you know what, let me just, so I was kind of right, there are some hidden screws, and mod them to it, or we have, oh, there's one down there, sausage. How are we going to, there we go. Right. And there we go. So we'll set this one aside, and now we can remove this panel, which is, of course, we have a light for the engine bay, and that goes around the gas strut. So to remove that, I will need to disconnect the gas strut. Where is the ECU? So the ECU is down here. So as you can see down there, that is one of the ECU back there in here where my fingers are pointing down inside, and this block here is the ECU. So we need to remove this one, and there should be one on the other side. So if I set this aside, I mean, I don't need to remove this part, I can just disconnect the, before that, let me disconnect the switch off the ignition. Just disconnect the ECU and get that checked for water damage and just general stuff. that's been in there for time, so it doesn't really want to come off, and I don't want to break this because that's going to be very expensive wiring loom. I mean, it's a good thing because we do all the wiring ourselves, so it's good to have some sort of knowledge in vehicle electrics. So worst case scenario, you can rebuild the loom ourselves. That is not a problem, but removing this connector is a problem. Oh, there we go, that's one. I'm working in spider web. That is two. So now that these connectors can just go down there somewhere, you can hide for now, and we need to push these clips back and remove. You're coming through the wrong hole. Get back in there. How on earth are we going to remove this? Because it will not come out. Oh, there we go. Right. So this is one of two ECUs, and I think I'm going to try this because obviously we work with ECUs, repairs and stuff like that. So I can quickly test the ECU to make sure the ECU is okay. If it is okay, update the softwares and then see if we can resolve this issue, which I'm hoping it is this, because we had the exact same issue with the A45S Project Payday. You had the exact same symptoms. We got the pyrofuse, everything was bypassed, and we're still struggling, and it took me 6 or 7 hours to then figure out it was the software. And it was just, I decided to update the software, and as soon as I updated the software, the car just fired up straight away. So I'm hoping that's the case in this one as well, and it's not the engine. Fingers crossed. If you guys got any tips, you know, leave them in the comments below. We are currently making a connection to the ECU so we can read the contents and see what is actually happening to the software of this ECU, if there's a problem there or a problem is somewhere else. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then we need the CAN wires, which is number 5, which I know because we work on quite a few of these. That'll be number 6 down there, and the blue and brown for the password reading will go to 7, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then 8 and 9. Right, so that is our connection, and now let's see if we can connect to the ECU. It's taking its time. Initializing ECU. Connection is correct, isn't it? Why is it doing that? Detected, and there we go. So we have detected the iFlash and everything in there. Read and write protected. We will just read the ECU just to basically take a backup, and then we will be able to flash that to stock from the server. So that's currently reading. It's gonna read the ECU, and then we should be able to flash that back to stock. So we'll catch up with you because I need to do this ECU and the other one, and then I'll catch up with you when both ECUs are done and we are putting it back in the car. Right, so I just plugged all the ECUs in. Everything is updated to the latest software. I flashed both ECUs, and now it's going to be trying to start the car again. So I will need to let me connect all of these modules and stuff, and we should be able to give you another start. Right, so battery and everything is connected again, and hopefully it starts this time. So pyrofuse is bypassed. It's still bypassed. I thought, you know what, I'll just leave it bypassed. And I've also done the ECU update. I've checked the codes and there's no other codes that's coming through. So right, are you ready? Because I am. Right. Nope. The problem is still there. I'm getting passenger airbag warnings, driver system fault, please contact workshop. Still getting that error. Welcome lights, switch off engine, coolant warning. Right, so I don't know what the problem could be. What is the problem? We've done that. We have done this part. We are getting voltage. Let me just double check. So that is 13 volts there and 13 volts there. Like the engine wants to turn over. Like before it would just click, but now the engine ever so slightly turns over. You can hear it, like the engine turning over, but then it just kind of, it's like, it feels like it's getting immobilized. I don't know. And these are quite hefty cables, so that shouldn't be like a voltage resistance, shouldn't be an issue. Speaking of resistance, let's quickly check the resistance of these wires, because you know what, I never actually thought about this. So because this is a quite long cable, if I check the resistance and go back to ohms, first of all we'll zero that one here, 0, and now there is 0 resistance. So it's not the wire that is causing this issue. We have a problem somewhere here then, I suppose. I don't know what, if it could be there is a possibility that the airbag system or the airbag ECU is immobilizing the car from start, but surely then we should get like an error on the system to say that engine start immobilized by XYZ, but none of that is coming through. So the only thing I'm thinking, and the only error I have, is the battery igniter. So if I remove that fuse, let me grab the gun. We know that fuse is dead because the continuity is not there. So this is your, oh, I need a pick tool because that is locked in there. Alright, so this is the battery fuse that usually blows, and if we check continuity, I know this one is dead because I checked it earlier. Yeah, that's dead. So yeah, so this one is definitely blown, and this is the fuse that we are bypassing. I don't know if you can buy this separate. I think this is like a whole piece, part of the fuse box from Audi themselves, unless I can find one online somewhere else for this part number. But for now, what I'm thinking is, instead of running those jumpers, if I just bolt these wires directly across here like that, and then see what we, so that completely eliminates that problem. Really, we have broken parts everywhere. So, right, now that that is bypassed, I'm going to perform another quick reset on the computer just to make sure it's not caused by that. I don't know, I can't really put my head around this. Right, let me quickly perform a reset and then we'll try again. Everything's connected there, so I have performed another complete reset on the computer, see if there is any fault codes or anything that was preventing us. I don't know, like at this point I have no idea, because I'm back to the same situation that we had with the A45, where we've tried everything, that didn't work, and then yeah, I'm in the same situation right now. I don't know what it could be. So we've done the bypass on the fuse. Oh, this starts beeping as well. So yeah, the software, I think it's probably the reset, because I didn't clear the error codes after the software updates. So man, oh shit! Shit. Yo, holy smoke. Yo, my heart's gone. Holy smoke. Oh, you don't understand. Oh my god, I was thinking that engine is dead. I was getting so close to just thinking, but I didn't want to think about it. I thought that engine is seized. Oh my god, I need a moment. My heart's beating really fast. Oh my god, that is insane. Right, I think we should give it another start, see if that happens, it starts again. Obviously we can't run it for too long because the coolant. My god. That is such a relief. Oh my days. Oh my days. Right, perfect. This is great news. Absolutely great news. Now that we can start the engine, at least we know the engine is not seized, there's no hydrolock or anything, and we can then start moving on to stripping the rest of the body and everything. But yeah, this was the biggest thing, because I was getting to a stage, because we tried many times before, we tried starting the car and we couldn't get the engine running. So I think it's probably the software. That was the exact same issue that I had with the A45S. Do check that video out, it's up there somewhere. And the exact same problem we had. We've done every single thing, the car was not running, and I thought maybe that engine is dead as well. And the exact same issue happened again. It's always me, happens to me. Always same issue. It's not straightforward, never straightforward. But yeah, now what we can do is we can move on to start stripping some parts and getting an idea of exactly what is happening and what sort of parts and stuff we need. But this is great news. Obviously the engine bay, I need to put some stuff back there, but this needs a really good clean, because look at the state of it. Now that we can start the car, we can clean this. It has to go to a proper detailer, and it's going to detail the entire engine bay. That's going to be a separate video for that. And yeah, now the actual build actually begins this moment. Happy days. Wow, I have no words. So yeah, next thing obviously I want to try is see if that gearbox, the Hurricane gearbox that we are currently running in this, is okay. So we have to test it driving back and forth, but I don't want to do that just yet because of the coolant issue and the radiator issue. So once we if you can bypass the coolant pipes and top up the coolants, and then we can let the engine run, warm up. Also we need to drain the oil as well and flush the old oil, put a brand new oil in there, and then you can carry out further test and stripping. So yeah, next, what is going to be next on this, so the next part is going to be completely stripping this front end. Have a really good look at this now. It's not going to look like this anymore very soon. We're going to strip every single thing from here, and then assess the damage, make sure there's no damage to the main chassis leg and that square. If that is, then we're going to move on to replacing all the damaged parts like crash bars and radiators and pipes and brackets and wirings and every single thing. So yeah, I think that was enough headache for one day. I think we're just going to leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you guys tune in next week to watch the part 2 of this one, and also in the meantime we'll also be releasing videos for the other builds, Project Payday and Project Rottweiler. But this is part 1 of Project Berlin, and we shall see you next time.